Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I need to subscribe and turn that post notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. So today's topic of discussion is going to be how to increase your milk supply. I hear a lot of moms say that their goal was to breastfeed, but they wasn't able to breastfeed because their breast milk supply was very low. So I'm gonna give y'all some tips and some tricks to help y'all be able to increase your supply so that you can have a successful breastfeeding journey. So stay tuned.
S to the C double O S A. Scoosa is the name, and I do this every day. So like, subscribe, turn on notification, cause I'm bringing the heat with no hesitation.
First and foremost, I want to say, when you give birth, your milk supply does not come in right away. So when you give birth, your body produces something called colostrum, and it's milk that your baby gets once your baby is latched onto the boob. But sometimes you can't hand express it out, so you won't be able to see it. You won't be able to really feel it in your boobs, but it's there. It's called colostrum, like I said, and your mature breast milk doesn't come in until maybe 2 or 3 days later. So keep that in mind. Just because you don't see it does not mean that your baby is not eating. Another thing too that I want to say is a lot of people feel like they aren't that the baby isn't getting any milk because the baby wants to eat all day. Well, that's natural. One thing about building your supply, you should always feed on demand. Forget that every 2-3 hours, like the doctors and nurses tell you in the hospital. Feed on demand. Whenever your baby is hungry, whenever your baby wants to attach to your boob, put your baby on your boob and nurse your baby. Another thing too that's going to immediately help your milk supply is once you give birth, skin to skin. Skin to skin is extremely important, especially those 1 to 2 hours after you give birth. They're very important. It helps your body to release oxytocin and also produce prolactin, which are two very important hormones that help to increase your breast milk production. So of course, you want your baby to be naked except with the diaper. So undress your baby down all the way to the diaper, and you can be topless. And like I said, just lay your baby on top of you. Just cuddle, kiss your baby, enjoy being a mother. If you're cold, take a blanket, put a blanket on top. But yeah, just make sure you get that skin to skin time in with your baby. So another thing I suggest, but I wouldn't suggest doing it as soon as you have your baby. I want to say maybe a week or two after you get home. If you see your breast milk isn't up to par, I want to say, you want to pump after each nurse session. So after you nurse your baby and you lay your baby down for a nap or whatever, just pump. Breast milk is mainly supply demand. So basically, the more you pump, the more your body will make. So the more you empty, the more you're releasing milk, the more your body is making milk. And also when you're nursing, you want to make sure that you're offering both breasts to baby, because if you're only breasting off, let's say your left breast, your right breast is going to have a low supply and your left breast is going to have a full supply. So yeah, your breast will be lopsided, one will be bigger than the other. Also, when you're trying to build your supply, make sure you're emptying one boob. Then when that one is emptied, and offer the next boob, let baby empty that one. You can go back to the left boob, let baby empty, go back to the right boob. That also increases your supply because, like I said, it is supply demand. So you're moving milk, you're going to make milk. You're moving milk, you're going to make milk. So basically, you have to move milk to make milk. So the more milk you're expressing out of your breast, the more milk your body is going to make back into your breast, if that makes sense. So this is why pumping helps. So you just want to pump after every nurse session. Just pump for about 20-30 minutes. That will also help to increase your milk supply. So along with pumping right after each nurse session, you can also try power pumping. So power pumping is basically you're pumping until your breasts are empty. And as soon as your breast is empty, you're continuing to pump. So that's why it's called power pumping. So you just pumping continuously. That, like I said, breast milk is, the more milk you're moving, the more your body is going to make the milk. But you only want to power pump if you know your milk supply is low. Do not power pump if your baby is nursing, your baby is gaining weight. Do not power pump, because then your body will overproduce milk and you'll be walking around here with your leaky boobs and you can't wear a shirt because the breast milk is just coming out of the shirt because your body is just overproducing too much milk. So only power pump if you know you have a low supply. Also, you want to make sure that you aren't stressed. And I know that's hard, especially being a new mom and you have the baby and you have everything else that you're worried about. But you want to try not to stress, because the stress hormone can also aid in low milk supply. So if you're stressed out and it's all in your head that you're stressed out, you will have a low milk supply because your body is stressed and the hormones will not allow your body to make any breast milk. So try not to be stressed out so that your body can produce enough milk. Another way to increase your supply, you seen the breast milk collector? It's called the breast milk collector, but it's called something else too. But basically, you can pump on one side and you have this little milk collector that you can sit on the other boob. A milk catcher is what I'm thinking about. A milk catcher. So you take the milk catcher, you attach it to your left boob while you're pumping the right boob, and all of that extra milk that's just coming out that would be leaking on your shirt is gonna go into the collector. And sometimes you can even get 2 good ounces out of that milk collector that you normally would just throw away or would just normally just be sitting on your shirt. And make sure y'all only try these methods if you know for sure that you have a low milk supply. You'll know you have a low milk supply if you go to the doctor and your baby is losing weight. That's really the only way to know if your milk supply is low. But if you go to the doctor and your baby is gaining weight, then obviously you do not have a low milk supply. And I'm telling y'all to only do this when you know your milk supply is low, because you can end up with the overproduction of milk. And like I said, that's harder. Overproduction of milk, to me, is harder than trying to increase your milk production. Because once you have an oversupply, you basically have, it's almost like you're weaning a baby. Like, you have to stop pumping, you have to stop nursing, you have to cut back on all of these things to get your body to realize, I'm making too much milk. I don't need all of this milk. So yeah, I only do these methods if you're sure and you know for a fact that your milk supply is low. But if you are feeding your baby on demand, then you're letting your body know, this is how much I need to produce to feed my baby. This is how much my baby is eating. So this is how much my body needs to produce to feed my baby. As a first-time mom, I want to say I was one of those moms who didn't think that my daughter was getting enough milk. I was producing, but when I would pump, I would only get like maybe 2 ounces on each boob. So to me, that wasn't enough. But obviously, it was enough because my daughter was gaining weight. But I just didn't feel as if it was enough. So I ended up taking fenugreek capsules. And I'm not going to lie, the fenugreek capsules really worked for me. Like, I took them one day, that next day, I was pumping 5 ounces on each boob. But let me say that I don't want to tell y'all to get fenugreek, because fenugreek can also stop some people's milk production. So fenugreek is one of those supplements that work for some but don't work for all. So you can try fenugreek if you want, but like I said, sometimes it can stop milk production. So I wouldn't advise fenugreek. I'm gonna just say try it at your own risk. I want to say for Araya, I did end up with an overproduction because, like I said, I thought that I wasn't producing enough breast milk, and in the end I ended up having an overproduction. And I would go out and have on a regular t-shirt, and you look at the shirt and you're like, oh yeah, she breastfeed, because it was just milk just sitting on my shirt, just milk stains and everything. So I did have to wear those bra pads and everything to collect the milk so that it wouldn't stain my shirt, which is a headache already within itself. So, well, with Shy, I learned from Mariah. So with Shy, I didn't have a oversupply. His was just, my body just made enough to feed him, because I let my body on its own learn how much food that my body needs to make to feed him. There are also like cookies, brownies and stuff like that you can get and teas that you can get to help increase your milk supply. But I feel like those are just like the fenugreek capsules. Like, what may work for some may not work for others. So yeah, try at your own risk. But what I do want to emphasize is to make milk, you have to move milk. You have to move milk to make milk. So that is number one. That is the key in everything. Just nurse. On demand, whenever your baby is hungry. If your baby crying, your baby fussing, just put the baby to the boob and just nurse. So thank y'all for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if y'all want to see any other tips, tricks, any questions concerning babies, toddlers, anything that y'all think I'll be able to help you all with, then just comment down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment on this video. And I will see y'all in the next one. Say peace. Peace. Bye. Say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
No, you did.